So maybe it's your freshman year, or you've already graduated and are doing this whole life thing and have somehow managed to survive without having proper time management skills. Either way, I'm here to help you put on that facade that you have your life together. Like me. Huh? Tight. The first thing you need to know how to do is prioritize. Now, there are all of these tasks that you have throughout your life that can be separated into one of three categories: social, school or work, and sleep. And in order to succeed in your life, you need to have a pretty good balance of all of these. There are many different ways that you can split these three things up. You can split them up equally and have 33.333% success in each of those, or you can split them up and pick two and do 66.666% of each of them well. And you'll find out pretty soon that that's actually a pretty good percentage effort, especially in college. Here's how I look at it. I'm in college, and I'm paying thousands of dollars to go to class and watch PowerPoints every day and eventually get a piece of paper that says I did well enough to be whatever it is I want to be in the scheme of things. Besides in crippling debt. I can say honestly that I try to make time for my social life, but it's not my number one priority. School is my number one priority, and also God. It's pretty safe to assume that I'm not a very social person. I have a very exclusive friend group, as I like to call it, and I focus more on school, and I get as much sleep as I can with the schedule that I have. And I feel like if I started to include more of my social life into that time that I have, then I would end up not getting enough sleep and eventually not doing well in my classes. On a more serious note, it really is important to take time to sleep, eat, and exercise. And I found that last year I really wasn't doing that, and I found that I wasn't succeeding as well in my classes and everything else that I was doing as much as I could if I had started prioritizing sleeping, eating, and exercising, because endorphins make you happy. Happy people just don't kill their husbands. Focus. If you are struggling mentally or emotionally, it is 100% okay to reach out to a friend or coworker or someone else, and because life is hard and everyone's struggling. The second thing you need to have good time management is you need a schedule. Now, some say I'm OCD, but I have 2 calendars and 2 planners. So that means that I have 2 whiteboards in my room that I write down my class schedule, like tests and exams, work schedule, whatever else on. Now, I have those 2 wall calendars so that I can easily see what I have going on this month and next month. So if I make an appointment, I don't necessarily have to make it for this month, I can make it for next month, and I won't forget about it before the time comes because it's on the calendar. It's set on my wall when I walk in the room. Something else that I do is I have a countdown on my calendars to when I get to go home for Christmas break or spring break or summer vacation altogether. I have a countdown to those so that I have something that I'm working toward. For example, right now I have 6 days until I get to go home to Georgia for Christmas break, and that's extremely exciting. And I still remember when I had 100 days, 90 days, 80 days, and it's just been counting down. It just makes it easier to have that visual aid that lets you know, hey, I'm this close to not having to worry about all this stuff anymore. I get a little bit of a break, and then I have a countdown that going back to school, so I'll know when I'll have to get my shit together again. Yeah, I have countdowns for the important stuff: anniversaries, vacations, pet birthdays. The third thing you need when you're trying to have good time management skills is efficiency. Efficiency is important for those of us who like to spend our free time watching Vines or doing nothing or reading or whatever it is you like to do. You've probably heard the phrase, work smarter, not harder. This does not mean that you should plagiarize a smart person's work and turn it in as your own because that's easy. That's stupid, and that shit will follow you forever, I guarantee it. Oh my god, they gave me permission to take their work and turn it in as my own. Wow, this website will write your whole paper for you in like 5 minutes. It only costs $10. Hell yeah! Hell no, bitch. What I mean is, it has become more common for students to study for 10 hours the day or night before an exam, rather than studying a couple hours a day over maybe a 5-day period before an exam. And studying for 10 hours the day before an exam is hard, but it's not smart. Like, you're barely going to remember any of the stuff that you were trying to study. Also, when you spread out your work over the course of a few days, it's always best to finish it at least a day before the actual due date. That way, if you find out that you missed something or you forgot to do something or you messed something up, then you can go back and fix it and still turn it in on time. The next thing you need to have good time management skills is goal setting. This segment is kind of all about treating yourself. No, what we're not going to do is treat yourself every time you go to class or every time you go to work, because going to class or work shouldn't even be a question. It does not warrant an award of any kind. That kind of shit's okay in high school. You know why? Because it's free. Hey, you guys want to skip second period and go hang out in the bathroom because we can't leave campus because we're 16 years old? Hell yeah, bitch, let's go. Fuck English, am I right? A study done by USA Today found that if you skip 240 classes, which is the average number of classes skipped by college students, it could cost you upwards of $7,200 over a 4-year period. And that's only if you're there for 4 years. If you go to a private school or pay out-of-state tuition, then this is going to be a lot more for you. Some of you might be thinking, oh, mommy and daddy are paying for it, so it doesn't matter if I skip. I have 2 responses to that. The more conservative option is just thinking about what your parents would think if they saw you skipping class, and even worse, you're not paying attention or playing on your phone. That's a waste of their time, it's a waste of money. What I really think is that mommy and daddy are gonna get tired of your shit if they aren't already, and you're fucking blessed that your parents are helping you pay for college in the first place, because they don't have to. They probably have their own student debt. Anyways, my point is, if you treat yourself every day, it's no longer a treat, it's an addiction, and you need to get some help. If you study really smart and get a good grade on an exam, then sure, go and treat yourself. Get a new sweater or Chipotle or whatever the fuck kids like, I don't know. You just keep telling yourself, I just need to get here, and then once you're there, you set a new goal and a new one and so on. One of my personal goals that I have right now is I have 6 days until I get to go home and see my family, my dog, and have someone to cook for me for the first time in months. And until then, I have to work my ass off and aspire to get a good GPA, and I keep telling myself I only need to push for a little while longer, and that's it.